Dear learners, welcome to this online session. In today's session, we are going to discuss about the substation equipment. So here we will discuss about the first part of the substation equipment, which comes under the substation equipment and distribution lines. We have discussed about the power distribution system and its components in the previous sessions. And now you will agree that the smooth operation of the power distribution system depends on how well it is maintained. This includes the operation and maintenance of all its components. So learners, we begin our first two sessions with a discussion of the substation equipment and distribution lines, so that you know the standards prescribed for the equipment. You know that adhering to these standards would ensure that the smooth operation of the equipment. So learners, in the next session of the week, we will discuss the operation and maintenance of equipment used in 36 by 11 kV substation and 33 by 11 kV substations. Then 11 kV by 400 volt substations. These are the distribution substations. Then overhead lines, underground cables and capacitors. And finally, we will take up hotline maintenance tools and techniques in the impact techniques about the impact of LT by HT ratio, low tension to the high tension ratio on the losses in brief. So what is the learning objective? So I'm just going to discuss about the learning objectives of for this session and the coming sessions, which are based on the substation equipment and distribution lines. So in these sessions, you should be able to describe the main equipment required for the construction of a 66 by 11 or 33 kV substation. So here we are discussing, because most of the equipments are same for both the substations 33 by 11 or 66 by 11 substation. So we will discuss it later on about this. In next coming sessions, I will discuss about the distribution line equipment and then describe the main equipment for overhead lines. Then discuss the important features of underground power cables in the distribution network. And another session, we will know about the general operation and maintenance practices for the substation equipment, distribution lines and capacitors. You will also know about the hotline maintenance technique and tools in brief in the coming sessions. So learners, we know that a substation is a part of electrical generation, transmission and distribution system. And substation transform the voltage from high to low and reverse, or perform any of the several other important functions. So substation may include transformer to change voltage levels between the high transmission voltage to lower distribution voltage, or at the interconnection of the two different transmission voltages. You know about the transformer work. This is the main component of the substation, which transform the voltage from one voltage level to the second voltage level. So between the generating station and consumer, electric power may flow through several substations. It is not necessary there is only one substation from generating station to the consumer. So I have already discussed about that there may be the several substations at various voltage level at different locations to get that different voltage level. Okay. So substation may be owned and operated by an electrical utility, or may be owned by a large industrial or commercial customer. Generally, these stations are unattended, and you all know that they rely on the SCADA system. What is SCADA? The Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition System for the remote supervision and control. You will discuss about this and you will know about the SCADA system in detail in a separate sessions. So here in this session, we are going to discuss about the substation equipment, and mainly for the 66 by 11 kV or 33 by 11 kV substation. So basically any substation described by their voltage class. If we say 66 kV substation means it is receiving the voltage of 66 kV, which is being transformed to the 11 kV, and then at the delivering end we are getting the 11 kV for the distribution. So the 66 kV is which is the substation is handling for transforming the voltage. So there are many equipment which are installed in the substation, like structures, power transformers, bus bars, you all know about all these, and circuit breaker, 33 kV or 11 kV, like it can be the 66 kV or 11 kV. Then isolators, or also known as the isolating switches, earthing switches, insulators, power and control cables. I'm just naming all these equipment which we use in the substation, like control panel, lightning protection equipment for the surge arresting, then surge arresters, and for the lightning protection we use this lightning arrestor, then instrument transformer. This can be the current transformer or potential transformer. Then earthing arrangements, then reactive compensation, DC supply arrangement, auxiliary supply transformer, firefighting system. So these all are the equipment which are installed in a substation. So you must be thinking that this 33 by 11, or sometimes we say the 66 by 11 kV substation. So how can we select a substation? On what factors it depends? So basically 33 kV by 11 kV is used for distribution of power at substation, and 66 by 11 kV is also used for the distribution purpose, both distribution at the 11 kV kV voltage. But whether to use 66 by 11 kV or 33 by 11 kV, it depends on many factors. As the substation rating is defined as per the power handling capacity, location and the purpose of the substation. So I think that substation rating decided by its power handling capacity, and it decided by the voltage level. So economic voltage rating has been categorized for different power range to be received. Like say load up to 80 MVA, voltage rating of 66 kV can be used. Then load up to the 5 MVA, voltage rating of 33 kV can be used. If we increase the voltage level, it can substation can handle more power. If we decrease the voltage level, substation will handle the less power. So thus, when a substation is of rating 66 by 11 kV, that means the substation has been designed to receive 80 MVA or on 66 kV, and it will distribute the received power on 11 kilovolt. Again, if we are saying the rating is 33 by 11 kV, substation rating is 33 by 11, that means the substation has been designed to receive 5 MVA of the power, say at 33 kV. That means this is less than 66 kV, and it will be distributed at the same power will be distributed on 11 kV. So that means the power handling capacity can be increased by increasing the voltage level of that substation. Let me show one model of the substation. So you can see that the transmission lines are coming to the substation at particular voltage level, and then that voltage through that transmission line is being changed by using the transformer, is being changed to the another level. So there are the two parts, we can say primary power lines, or there can be the secondary power lines. Primary power lines at one level and secondary power lines at another voltage level. So in substation these two voltage level are there. So when it is coming to the inside the substation, then you will see that there will be the this primary power lines, then ground wires, then overhead lines. It's a three phase, and one is the one ground wires is also there. Then transformer is the major equipment which is converting voltage from one level to the another level, and the circuit breakers. Then you will see the isolators, Then you will see the control building, security fence, and lightning arrestor, main transformer. So these all are the components. You can see that how by suppose in the case of this transformer, one circuit breaker one side, another circuit breaker another side, then again the current transformer from the both side, and the potential transformer is used for the measuring the voltage level which is coming. So all these equipments are used in the substation. So design of the substation equipment must comply with the requirement of relevant Indian standards to ensure the smooth operation. Here in this session, I am going to describe introduction of each equipment. So one is the structure. This is the major component, you can say, in the substation, over which you can see that the lot of trusses and the support systems are there. So structure are required to provide entry from the overhead lines to the substation and to extend out required number of feeders. So the number of structures should be kept minimum, because the large number of structures would not only be uneconomical but give an ugly look to the substation and may prove to be obstructions in extending the bus bar and lines, and it will occupy the space in the substation and make it very complicated for other equipment. So aim is that just to minimum number of structures to be used. What are the main structures which are required for the 66 kV by 11 kV or 33 by 11 kV substations? You have heard about the gantries. So incoming and outgoing gantries, overhead lines are supported, which guide these lines, overhead lines. So one kind, the structure is required. Which kind of a structure is required for that? Then support structures for the breakers, circuit breakers, isolators, fuses, insulators, CTs, PTs or instrument transformers. So they also require the support structure. Then bus bars. So these are the main structures for which are very necessary for the substation. So substation switchyard structures can be made of fabricated steel or RCC somewhere. Reinforced cement, concrete. Now I have discussed that incoming and outgoing gantries, the main structure. So gantry is an overhead bridge-like structure supporting power conductor and sometimes an anchor portal or H-frame kind of tower you see in substation. So what is this? So this an anchor portal or H-frame tower is a structure supporting for the overhead lines. So anchor portal may be tube or steel framework construction. So that bridge kind of structure of this fabricated steel or this you can see in the substation. So gantry structures are mainly used for guiding the overhead power lines from last tower near the substation to the electrical equipment in a substation. So this structure consists of number of columns and beams, which depends on number of circuits of the line. Gantry are also used for line crossing. So for guiding the lines, you need this kind of support structure. Then main equipment in the substation is power transformer, and because of that the rating of the substation is decided that what voltage level you are considering taking the transformer there. So we have discussed about the underlying principle and design of power transformers in the previous sessions, and we have compared about what is power transformer, what is distribution transformer, and general operation maintenance practice of the power transformer are similar to those of the distribution transformer. And this will be discussed in detail in the separate session basically which will be on the transformer. Then one equipment is bus bar. This is very common name which is used in the substations. What is bus bar? So bus bar is among the most important element of the substation, and the bus bar is the kind of electrical junction which has outgoing and incoming current path. From the bus bar you can see here that that number of incoming paths, and you can see number of outgoing path for the current path are there. So that means it has to handle a lot of current. So basically this is conductor which carries a current to a point, having numerous connections with it. Whenever a fault occurs in the bus bar, entire components connected to the specific section should be trapped, or so it should be tripped for giving through isolation in a small time, because we would like to remove the fault. So it's required that the quick isolation of the equipment, it would be less than 60 milliseconds, for avoiding the danger rising due to the conductor's heat, and which may damage the complete system and damage the other equipment which are connected with that. So these are different types of ring bus, double bus, single bus. We can classify further also on the basis of the application. So the bus bar basically a thick strip of what this conductor, because these are the conductor. So what is this? This is a thick strip of copper or aluminium that conduct electrically within the substation. So the size of the bus bar is important in determining the maximum amount of current that can be safely carried. You can see very thick kind of bus bars are there. So that means it is a lot of current it is handling. So bus bar should be able to carry the expected maximum load current without exceeding the temperature limit. So the capacity of the bus should also be checked for maximum temperature under short circuit conditions, because in the short circuit condition maximum current will flow, then the temperature will rise. So that generally under short circuit current condition the testing is done. So different types of bus bar, I already mentioned single bus bar with bus sectionizer, then main and transfer bus, double bus bar with double breakers scheme and mesh scheme. These are used in a substation in accordance with the safety and reliability consideration. So the next equipment is circuit breaker. This is very important equipment, as its name implies that breaking the circuit. So just like a fuse, what fuse then that what is happening in the fuse? In fuse, when the fault occurs, then it melts and disconnect the circuit. But we have to replace it. But unlike fuse, which operates once and then must be replaced, a circuit breaker can be reset to resume normal operation, either manually or automatically. So circuit breaker is an automatically operated switching device which is designed to protect an electrical circuit from damage caused by excess current from an overhead or short circuit, that is much larger fault current, or you can say which may occur on a circuit. So basic function of the circuit breaker is to eliminate a short circuit or fault current, interrupt current flow after a fault is detected. Circuit breakers are made in varying sizes, from small devices that protect the low current circuits, or individual household appliances. You know about you have seen at your home that there are miniature circuit breakers are there, and you say that MCB switches, you call it, so which protect the whenever some fault occur, at that time it operates and protect your complete circuit or complete equipment and just cut the light at that time. So when the fault occur, for the large switchgear designed to protect the high voltage circuits, so feeding an entire city, in that case also circuit breakers are used. So generic function of the circuit breaker is often we can say OCPD, like overcurrent protection device. So circuit breakers are found at arrival and departure of all lines incident on a substation. So all the circuit breaker systems have common features in their operation, but details vary significantly depending on the voltage class. that low voltage or high voltage, at which voltage we are using this, its current rating and type of the circuit breaker. So you will see that there are different kind of circuit breaker. So here in the picture you can see the oil brake type breaker and SF6 circuit breaker. I will tell you that why we are naming it like this. Circuit breaker contains both fixed contacts and moving contact. That means when the switching action takes place, that means it requires two contacts. So one contact is a moving contact and one contact is a fixed contact. So when the circuit breaker is closed, these contacts are held together. The mode of action of all the circuit breaker consists in the breaking of fault current by the separation of moving contacts away from the fixed one. And due to the separation of the contacts, arc is immediately established between the contacts. And when the arc at these contacts is extinguished, then interruption of the current will occur and current becomes zero. That means it is necessary to quench this arc when the sudden separation takes place in the circuit breaker between the circuit breaker contacts. So this is the general operation when the circuit breaker works. So when a high current or voltage is interrupted and between the contacts, arc is generated. So the length of the arc is generally proportional to the level of the voltage, while the intensity or heat is proportional to the current. So the arc must be contained, cooled or extinguished in a controlled way so that the gap between the contacts can be again withstand the voltage in the circuit. So different type of circuit breakers are used vacuum, air, insulating gas or oil as a medium of arc forms in. So different techniques are used to extinguish the arc, like including we can say that lengthening of the arc or deflecting the arc. So by lengthening the arc, it will be easy to extinguish it. Then intensive cooling in jet chambers, like division into the partial arcs, 0 point quenching in the AC wave. You see that then zero crossing occurs twice in the frequency, line frequency, like 100 times per second for 50 Hertz AC. So at 0 point quenching is also possible. So these are some techniques which are used when while extinguishing the arc. And finally, once the fault conditions has been cleared, the contacts must again closed to restore the power to the interrupted circuit. Element of circuit breakers, generally you know that main contacts, one is a moving fixed contacts at system voltage, then insulation such as porcelain, oil, gas between the main contacts and ground potential, and operating and supervisory accessories, of which tripping facilities are most important. Wide variety of closing and tripping arrangements that use the relay with the variable time delay, and number of operating mechanisms based on the solenoids, charged springs, pneumatic arrangements. These are available nowadays. So these closing, tripping, so operating and supervisory accessories are also the one of the component for tripping, for providing the tripping facilities. Now I mentioned that the circuit breaker works when it gets a signal from the relays. So these protective relays, so circuit breaker for a large current or high voltage are usually arranged with the protective relay device. Both work together, relay and circuit breaker, because protective relay device sense a fault condition. Relay is a sensing device which senses the fault condition and to operate the opening mechanism of the circuit breaker. So at the time when any fault occurs in the system, a relay is sending the tripped command to the circuit breaker, which moves the contacts apart and hence avoiding any damage to the circuitry. So these relays and circuit breakers are protecting equipment from other damages as well, such as fire, risk of human life, removal of fault from a particular section of the substation. So different types of breakers are used in the distribution system. The high voltage breakers are broadly classified by the medium of or medium we use for to extinguish the arc. like air brake type, where medium air blast is being used for the basically suppression of the arc. Then oil brake type, vacuum type, then SF6 gas breaker. This is sulfur hexafluoride circuit breaker, SF6. This uses the contact surrounded by the hexafluoride, sulfur hexafluoride gas to quench the arc. So they are the most often used for transmission level voltages and in cold climates. And in the cold climates, that supplemental heating or derating of the circuit breaker may require due to the liquefaction of the SF6 gas. So let's see that the oil brake type circuit breaker and SF6 circuit breaker in the picture. So the rated voltage of circuit breaker for 66 kV level is 72.5 kV, 33 kV level is 36 kV, or for the 11 kV is 12 kV, the higher than the rated voltage of that substation. The short circuit current rating is 31.5 kiloampere for 66 circuit breaker, kV circuit breaker, or 25 kiloampere for the 33 kV circuit breakers, and 16 kiloampere is for the 11 kV circuit breaker. So this is giving some idea about the rating of the short circuit rating or voltage rating of the circuit breaker. So the 11 kilovolt switchgear is generally metal enclosed indoor type. So the next is the isolator. When you heard about the circuit breaker, you must have know about that isolator. You will see in the layout that or in the substation, when the circuit breaker and then isolator, they are closely they are installed. So isolator switch or disconnectors or disconnect is mechanical switching device which is used to completely de-energize an electrical circuit for service or maintenance. So disconnectors can be manual or motor operated. So for the maintenance or service purpose, to allow the isolation of apparatus such as circuit breakers, transformers, transmission lines, or high voltage isolation switches. These are used in the electrical substation. So the isolator or disconnectors is usually not intended for normal control of the circuit, but only for safety isolation. So thus they are offload device and with very low breaking capacity. So remember, they are intended to be opened only after current has been interrupted by some other control device. So when no significant voltage difference exists across the terminals. So the safety regulations of the utility must prevent the attempt to open the disconnector or isolator while it supplies a circuit. That means it cannot be used like just opening the circuit. So isolator, the circuit is to be de-energized using some other control device. Then after the isolator is used offline. So the open air disconnecting switches typically need maintenance every 5 years. So every 2 years under the very polluted conditions. While a circuit breaker have maintenance interval of 15 years, it can. So isolators are capable of carrying the current under normal conditions and short circuit currents for a specified time. So in open position, isolator should provide an isolating distance between the terminals. So the standard value of rated operation of short time current capacity withstand for the isolator and earthing switches is normally 1 second. A value of 3 seconds is also sometimes specified for 33 kV horizontal type isolator switch. Isolating switches are used, and the rated normal current is 360 ampere for 36 ampere. For 11 kV, both horizontal and vertical mounting isolating switches of 400 ampere at 12 kV are used. So earthing switch, as I mentioned that with the isolator, one name is earthing switch. This is also the part of the substation. So in an electrical installation, the earthing system or grounding system connects the specified part of that installation with the earth's conductive surface for safety and functional purpose. Basically, it connect the specific part of that installation with the ground or with the earth conducting surface. Why? You know about this? What is the use of the earthing switches or earthing arrangement in case of any fault? So main function of the earth switch is to ground the isolated bus or conductor or equipment. Earthing switch has to be capable of withstanding short circuit current for short duration as applicable to the isolator. So even after the isolator operation, there may be some residual charges in the circuit or on the bus, which may harm the personnel going for the maintenance. So before commencing maintenance, we have to ground the isolated bus too, so to avoid the mishappening. That means we are making the zero potential. So for the safety purpose, the use of the earthing switching is also essential in order to avoid any residual charges which may be there in spite of the working of circuit breaker and isolators. So earthing switches is interlinked with the isolator. When isolator opens the circuit, earthing switch is closed, and when isolator closes the circuit, that means the circuit that means the system is working, then earth switch is opened. So earth switch provides extra safety to the working personnel and the system. Then insulator and electrical insulator resist the flow of the electricity. Insulators are used in the substation in various places. So what does it mean? The insulator resists the electricity. Application of the voltage difference across a good insulator results in negligible current, electrical current. So adequate insulation is of prime importance for obvious reason of reliability of the supply, safety of the personnel and equipment. So insulators in use in the substation are post insulators of pedestal type or solid core station type. Like there are some pictures of the insulator. So post insulators are used as supports for bus bars and transformers, substation yards, in switchgear, as support for breakers and for capacitor banks. Now the section design should be such that the number of insulators is kept at a minimum, at the same time ensuring security of the supply. So in the areas where the problem of insulator pollution is expected, such as near the sea or thermal station or railway station, industrial area, so special insulators with higher leakage resistance should be used there. So these insulators are generally subjected to bending or torsion and compression forces in service. So learners, so far we have discussed some of the main equipment required for construction of 66 by 11 kV or 33 by 11 kV substation. So many equipments are installed in the substation. So we have briefly discussed about the structures, then power transformers, bus bars. Power transformer will be discussed in detail in the separate section, and we have discussed the bus bar, circuit breaker, then isolator or isolating switches, earthing switches, insulators. So in the next session, we will know about the other substation equipment like power and control cable, control panels, lightning protection, surge arresters, then instrument transformer, earthing arrangement, reactive compensation, then DC supply arrangement. We will also study about the auxiliary supply transformer firefighting system which is used in the substation. So in the next section or in the part 2 of that substation equipment online session, we will cover remaining equipment. Thank you.